welcome to another episode of Walk with Drew. My name is Drew Muzan. Thank you guys for joining me. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment and get this episode to all your friends. So as you can see by the title, I got my man Rock from Reach Over Culture here joining me today for, kind of like a collab episode, just interview him and just talk to him because there's not that many Black Christian creatives in the space trying to do the same thing that I'm doing. And just as we were talking before we even got on, we realized there's a lot of similarities between what we're trying to do. So I really just wanted to get him on. I've been following him, I want to say for a little under a year. We started following each other earlier back in 2020 and just peep what each other was doing and just been supporting ever since. So I really wanted to get him on for season 2 of Walk with Drew and just to chop it up with him. Rock, what's good with you?
Drew, what's up? What's up, man? It's a pleasure, man. Like to be on this side of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's crazy, but like you said, brother, I've been, following, your work and to see the similarities and to see that somebody else just, they get it. You know what I mean? They get the same vision. At first, I was like, oh man, ain't nothing original out here. But then I was like, ain't nothing original out here. I was
this cat got the same thing I'm doing.
It's the same thing, same tag. But I was like, you know what? Nah, like the content is dope, and hey, the more the merrier in this lane, and you're doing it right. But I appreciate you having me on, brother.
I appreciate it, man. Yeah, dog. For real, like there's not that many that's doing it. Like literally, you're the only person I know. I know other people that's creating content that's doing it, but I'm like, bro, you like us too, like in the lane that we going in, and then even by like our bios being similar, we're gonna get into that. Like it really, really doing it. But nah, bro, I appreciate you. So for real, just I wanted to get into just a little bit about who Rock is. Like, who is Rock? Like, where are you from? So I heard the accent, you know what I'm saying? I heard the dialect. I about to actually say something. Say what's the words on TikTok they be asking people from New Orleans say soda, which I say soda
cold drink. cold drink. Oh, what's the
cold drink,
To be fair, I say soda. I ain't gonna lie to you. I ain't gonna hold you. I don't say cold drink because hey, listen, I don't say cold drink. I say soda. But yes, I'm originally from New Orleans, Louisiana. Moved around a few years. First few years of just birth, my family, they met in the Army. So my father, he's from Goldsboro, North Carolina. My mom is from New Orleans, Louisiana. And so moved around a little bit from, birth to about 3 or 4. Then got submitted in New Orleans until Hurricane Katrina. I was 12 going on 13 around that time. And Hurricane Katrina, and my mom found a gig out here in Tulsa, Oklahoma in 2006. And it was close to my biological dad because they split when I was younger. So it was closer to him, and he lives in Oklahoma City. So it just, worked. And, the houses that they were looking at, they had one that said 504, that's the area code for New Orleans. And so she just kind of felt like, that was the signs, that was the move in Tulsa. She was getting a bigger bag, bigger promotion. It was close to my biological dad. And she loved the school system. So we was there. By the time 2006 rolled around, been in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I've been here. I went to high school here. Met a lot of my friends there. That's, me and Paris Carrez. We, MC, we all went to high school together. So
word. Okay.
Right. Yeah. I don't have connections with them just off the rip. I've been knowing them for a very long time. So then I played JUCO for a couple years and back in New Orleans, actually moved back in New Orleans. And then came back to Tulsa, then went back, then moved, then came back to Tulsa for a couple years, got married, moved to Dallas for a couple years to do a biblical internship out there, and then ended up moving back to Tulsa, and been back here since 2018. But originally from New Orleans, Louisiana, but by way of Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Yeah, Tulsa's in you. That's the blood now. Yeah, because I see it. You can't get away from it. Now I got so originally with me, I'm originally from Jersey City. I moved out here when I was like 5. I moved out here when I was like 5 to Charlotte. And I've been out here ever since. Me and my mom, single parent home. Been out here.
Where's Jersey City? Jersey's in Jersey?
Yeah, Jersey City. Yeah, Jersey City, New Jersey.
In New Jersey. Jersey. Okay.
Yeah. I don't got
you
the
like
Southern
Sue Surf? You familiar with Sue Surf and all them? You watch Battle?
Yeah. I know it. Yeah, TSU
so
Surf.
Yeah.
I know all them. Yeah, and then Fetty Wap is near some of my family, like in Patterson. Patterson, Jersey is near like some of my family's in Trenton. So
Yeah,
Patterson
yeah.
around there.
That's
Yeah.
my
So
that's my now my knowledge of Jersey goes with I'm a big battle rap fan, so like
okay.
New Jersey Twerk and Arsenal and Sirius Jones. That
Oh
I'm familiar with all that. And
yeah,
Redman, you know, Redman's from Jersey, New Jersey
yeah,
Drive. So you know,
yeah.
yeah. So
And
yeah,
Budden
I
from
rock
Jersey
with Jersey.
too. My cousin actually was
Oh,
battle rapping Joe Budden back in the day. He told me about that.
yeah,
My
yeah.
cousin from
Joe Budden's from Jersey. Joe Budden's
yeah,
from Jersey. Yes, sir.
so yeah, it was like tight connections. So yeah, I've
Yes,
been
sir.
up there ever since. Been out here ever since. So how did you like get your start in like doing content? Like I know you said you played JUCO. So was it? What did you have hoop dreams? And then you know what I'm saying, you picked up the mic and then just like okay, I'm gonna rock with the mic. Or like how did
Yeah.
you kind of get content?
Now, I mean, hoop dreams, not really. Like I just
Okay.
I knew I wasn't going to the NBA. Like even in high school, I was like, I'm not going to the NBA. Like
Just
like I'm
confident
not.
in
I
that.
mean, yeah, like you know, it's self awareness is key. You know what I mean? You know, it's self awareness. But
Mm,
you know, getting out of school, I was like, I don't really know what I want to do. I don't think I really figured out what I wanted to do. A lot of people thought I would go into sports journalism because I was always talking about sports, and I
yeah.
was really, really
Same.
into sports. You know what I'm saying? You hear me? So, but you know, at some point, it's like, man, you get tired of talking about sports. Like, I realized I don't want to make a career out of talking about sports because eventually, like, you get to know something so much, it starts to bore you. And so when I
Yeah.
got out of school, I actually moved back to Tulsa because I just didn't really know what was the next step, and I didn't really want to try to continue to put myself through school and pay loans. And when I
Mm-hmm.
just got done, you know, coming off of a scholarship, I'm like, I don't want to like pay loans and go to
Right.
school and just waste money trying to figure out what I want to do. So I just started working, and I didn't get into content creation until 2018.
Okay.
Um, from let's see, 2012 is when I actually just really started to get back in the church and
Yeah.
really, you know, we were raised in the church and stuff, but I when we came to Tulsa, we couldn't really find a church home because there wasn't really any churches like this, like back in New Orleans. And
Uh-huh.
so in 2012, when I moved back from school, which was also like a God thing, I felt like God was pulling me back here to reaffirm my relationship with Him. Then I started to serve in church. I started serving, which y'all know now is Transformation Church,
Mm-hmm.
back when it was Greenwood Christian Center, and
Oh
I started
wow.
serving.
Oh, so you got roots.
Yeah, I started serving in the youth ministry under Michael Todd, and you
Crazy.
know, and so yeah, I served with him up until the point he became the lead pastor around that time. That's when I went to Dallas and joined the biblical internship out there in Grapevine, Texas. And so then I was out there, like, and I had just graduated that internship. I had a diploma in Christian studies under my belt. And I
Oh,
was
you a
thinking,
theologian out here. Okay.
man, a diploma. You hear me? A diploma. You hear me? Yeah. So yeah, I got a diploma, and I was just really asking God, what was my next step? The church I was at the time was a great church. It was a huge church, and I had been leading the downtown campus youth, but they were kind of slow playing me on giving me a job, and I didn't understand like what else more I needed to. Hold on. My bad. We
You
good.
good?
Yeah, I didn't understand what else more I needed to prove to get a permanent spot because I was already working. I was working full time, 40 hours, and
Mhm.
doing the internship pretty much 40 hours a week.
Oh
And I
dang.
was like, I can't continue to do both. I didn't took time away from my wife at the time, and my personal time was gone. And I was like, I can't keep doing one or the other. So we was in the middle of that before I just felt like, nah, this is not where I'm supposed to be. Like, to keep it G, I was like, bro, I don't even really know if y'all see potential in myself or y'all just trying to find another, black face to fill the
Right.
room.
Mm-hmm.
And feeling all of that, I was just like, God, what's the next step? And then I was already in a podcast 2 years prior, but I had never started a podcast. I didn't even think about starting a podcast. And he dropped, a podcast in my soul. And I was like, that's crazy. No, nobody's. I'm not the super talkative type, so nobody's gonna listen to me. You're wild.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like nobody's gonna hear.
Uh-huh.
And so, but he was giving me the vision of a podcast, like funneling messages and just funneling like my own form of personal ministry. And so I leaned into it. I did it. I did the research, and I did my first episode on these headphones right here. And
Yeah.
on the app on the phone before we got done,
Yeah.
Drew, before we got fancy, we was just doing this, baby. That was it.
Yeah. That's what I'm
And
talking
so,
about.
and so we I started to lean into that. Even the name Reach Over Culture, it was a name that was given to me because I was trying to tailor make it to myself without me being the face of it, because I don't want to be the face of Reach Over Culture. Reach Over
Yeah.
Culture is made to be like a more of a movement than just it's based off of me. So he even gave me that name and gave me the vision, and I got a little help, and just took a lot of bumps along the way. So yeah, 2018, all that led up into 2018. Actually, me putting out podcasts and you being gracious enough to call me a content creator, because that's not what I was calling myself at the time.
He is a content man, but content creation literally it being a creative. We like I think society has like made it so like big when it's like really creative is like, oh, you paint or oh you're able to shift this to make it how you want to look, however it is your own, like that's
Right.
it. And then content creation, like people who get such a big head about like content creation, like, oh my gosh, I could never. I'm like, bro, cut the camera on, you got the phone, prop it up.
Right.
I used to do videos off an iPad, prop it up on my mom's laptop and sit in
Word.
a broken wooden chair with an iPad
Yeah.
mini, and fold it on a laptop and sit there and talk to it. That's like content
That's gangster.
creation.
That's gangster.
Bro, that's content creation, and people get such a big head because they want like perfect conditions to start. And I'm like, bro, you don't need no perfect. You got them headphones right there. You got
Yeah.
your phone right there. Your iPhone
But you
12.
can kind of relate to him though. I know like it's
Yeah.
like, man, it becomes a discourage. I wouldn't say I'm necessarily a perfectionist, but I like things as great as possible. So that was one of the discouragements for me. Is like, all I have is this phone and this. Ain't nobody about to hit me off of this, man.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, ain't nobody about to pay attention to me. I don't even got videos on YouTube. I don't know how to do any of that. So, I can relate to people that want a perfect setup, but the moment you realize there's no perfect setup unless you're Joe Buttons or somebody.
You're right.
There is no perfect setup.
And then the pandemic started, and you know that cat Trevor Noah that's on the Comedy Central, he doing this stuff from the crib. Soon as I seen that was the pandemic started, I'm like, so son doing this stuff from the crib, getting millions from the crib, and we at the crib now. So like the crib, like especially now the pandemic, I feel like kind of enhanced like content creators being able to do it from the crib because everybody's doing it from the crib. So it's just like it put everybody on an even playing field. But I kind of relate. We relate once again with the whole sports journalism thing. When I was coming out of high school, I wanted to be the next John Calipari, the Black John Calipari. I wanted to be a basketball coach. I wanted to, bro. I was reading all the old John Wooden books and I was so crazy about basketball. I used to be able to write on 3 sheets of paper all the basketball players I knew. I was so crazy about basketball. I went so crazy about sports journalism. Like when Stuart Scott died, I cried, like, because I'm like, that was my guy. Like, so when I went into college, I wanted to do sports journalism, and then like I want to say like my junior year, my sophomore year, I started a blog. And I started going by the music head because I was always just listening to music and putting people on music and ripping files from like old sites from
bootlegging.
Bootlegging the site. Before the album came out, I was giving everybody the albums before the album came out. I was doing that for a minute. And I just really started to fall in love with like music and like pop culture. And even when I was in high school, I wanted to be on 106 in Park. Like I saw that all the time. But then like around my sophomore year, like I started to kind of change in my heart. Like I don't want to do sports journalism no more. And then I realized too, like, and you can kind of attest to this, the barriers within sports journalism is crazy. Like if you're not working behind a desk for 10 years at ESPN, you ain't gonna get on camera until you about 40. So I'm like, and I honestly think I don't know when it's gonna come true, but I honestly think somebody's gonna come and dethrone ESPN eventually, or make ESPN dumb down their standards, because I'm like, wait till a black billionaire come in there and say, okay, let's start a whole sports network, and y'all can wear hoodies and y'all can wear snapbacks and y'all can have the tattoos and no
Fox Sports already on their helmet. Fox Sports is on their helmet right now. ESPN's biggest saving grace is that they have Disney on their corner. That's their biggest saving grace. If Disney was not in ESPN's corner, and Disney did not have the relationships, and Disney didn't own half of television, ESPN would be in bigger trouble now. But Fox Sports is on their helmet though. And I mean, like you said, I did not even think Sorry.
Oh, are you good?
Do not disturb. I did not even think. I apologize so much for that.
Are you
That is
good?
irritating. I did not even think about a black-owned sports network coming through, holding it down for the. If they don't, if they not careful, uninterrupted, gonna come get their job.
Yeah. That's what I
I
said with
see
the
what
whole
Brian
shot
doing.
joint. That's what I'm
I see what
saying,
Brian
bro.
doing. I see what Brian doing. If they're not careful, uninterrupted gonna come get ESPN. They're
And
not
take
careful.
everybody and start
Right.
their own network and let you could wear whatever you want and make it be
Yeah.
as professional as possible. And they're gonna
Yeah.
dethrone them, and it's gonna be a quicker route from college to the camera, because that was my whole thing. I'm like, I'm trying to get on camera. So what's the route to the getting on camera? I got to sit and do desk work for 10 years or do blogs for
Right.
10 years. I used to write. I don't want to write no more. I want to be on camera. So like ESPN, I'm like, bro, I didn't have the internship coming out of college or stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I left. I just stopped messing with sports journalism and just started really focusing on like music journalism. And like I started a website called like Genius Daily when I graduated college. Started just
Okay.
updating on music. And then I started updating people on music and started doing that. And then I really started doing my content around like 2016, like when I really took it serious. And that was at the time when my relationship with God started to get really serious. Like right at the time I had that come to Jesus moment. I grew up in the church my whole life, but I had that come to Jesus moment. And then once I had that moment, everything started to come together in terms of like content. Like I had an idea of like, okay, I wanted to be here. I didn't know how to get there, but then as soon as I got with God, like everything started to go up. So it's crazy.
Yeah.
Like we share a lot of similarities with that.
Yeah. So you started creating content in 2016.
Yeah.
I
So
mean,
when
but
I
even before,
really,
but even before that, I mean, you starting a sports blog and different things like that. I had an idea to start a sports blog. I had like I had a website through WordPress and everything. I just never pulled the trigger because around that,
WordPress.
yeah. So that's dope. Are you still planning on implementing some type of sports content into what you're doing?
Man, nope. I'm done with sports, man. I watch sports now. Like I watch, like I even was watching it when you did your episode with P. I was like, man, they really talking about sports. Like it's not just like you're incorporating sports into what you're doing.
Yeah,
So I'm like,
that's our
man,
biggest arguments. That'd be our biggest fight sometimes in sports. That'd be our biggest, especially with me and P, because I'd be like, bro, P, as good as you are at basketball, and I give him credit, that boy is nice at basketball. As good as you are, you don't know anything about basketball. You're terrible. But I'm always giving P hell about sports. But you haven't seen two people go at it. And I know you've seen some stuff, especially being from Jersey, being in Carolina. In the Oklahoma area, if you want the biggest debate with sports in human history, the most hilarious debate with sports in human history, look for MC and Paris Carrez. Them two talking about sports, it almost comes to blows. It's like, bro, what? Like, what do you like? Neither one of y'all even know any of these people. Like, y'all are crazy. Yeah. But nah, that's dope though. Like that's dope. I think you should, man. Somehow you gonna implement sports because you're gonna get some athletes on your.
Yes, I'm saying I wouldn't mind. You know what I'm saying, getting athletes on there and just talking about things. But I'm like, man, my attention span with sports. Like I'll be on my phone. Like LeBron will be playing, I'll be on my phone. Like it's not the same as it was when I was in high school. Like I'm a huge LeBron James fan. Like I read the book, I seen the DVDs. Yeah, I seen the DVDs, had the jerseys, went to the games, everything. So huge LeBron James fan. But I'm like, now I'll be watching the game. I'm like, bro, what's going on social media? Like I'm just a content junkie. Like I'll be on YouTube all day. Like I just like content. So
same.
Yeah,
YouTube,
I don't even watch
man.
Netflix like that, bro. I just be on. I'll be on YouTube watching content.
Bro,
like,
same. My Netflix to YouTube ratio is crazy.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm even watching HBO. I'm watching HBO Max more now than I'm actually watching Netflix. I just feel like they got better stuff. But yeah, my YouTube, like when you go on the list of my apps, my YouTube overshadows every other app on the phone. It's crazy.
Because we hungry, man. Because we hungry. That's the thing. Is like, and I
you gotta stay
inspired. I think that, and it feeds the vision. Like I think it feeds the vision. Like you constantly watching stuff and training your eye for like what you trying to see or see what everybody else is doing. So what's coming up on your recommended? Like okay, that's coming up. Okay, okay, I see that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I do differently. So yeah, I always keep that. Man, we got a lot of similarities, though.
That's a fact. Crazy. That's a fact.
So like, who are some of the people like within media that you kind of look up to, or that you looked up to coming up, or that you kind of look up to now?
Man, Joe Budden was the inspiration. for me launching Joe Budden and the Dream Champs, actually, Nori and DJ
And them
EFN.
joints is too long, man.
I
I was
know.
trying to watch the DMX joint earlier. I'm like, man, this joint too
You
long.
see, and that's the crazy part because I love it. I mean, because they've been doing long podcasts,
Right.
and it's like, I mean, for somebody like myself who's just into hip hop and love what I just love hearing hip hop stories, and I can just listen to these old dudes talk all day, man, about other hip hop things. A lot of people wonder where I get like a lot of my lingo and my laid backness from. I just grew up around like a lot of my stepdad took me around all his older friends, so I'm just into that stuff. And Drink Champs, I like Drink Champs and Joe Budden was as far as inspiration in the media. Stephen A. Smith from ESPN. Not so.
You like that
Elliot
cat,
Will.
man? He kind of a diva, man. He kind of a
I
diva,
I,
man.
I rock with Stephen A. I rock with Stephen A. Just he a diva, but he be on point,
Yeah.
and his sources are real. Like when he
Right.
speaks it comes to fruition. It's like Woj, but he represent us.
Yeah.
So and Stephen A. I mean, he just speak his mind, and I agree with a lot of his points. How it's delivered could determine on whether you think he a diva or not.
Yeah.
But typically I'm not big on delivery. I'm more
Yeah.
focused on the words. So if you're saying something I can feel,
Right.
I'll bypass how it's delivered. If you're saying the truth, so I rise with Stephen A. But yeah,
You
Joe
said
Budden.
Elliot. You said Elliot Wilson.
Elliot
Wilson's big
Wilson
for me too.
for Rap Radar. So those were initially my first media influences, but Joe Budden probably more than everybody as far as media influences. Probably Joe Budden more than anybody.
And you see the moves. What you think of the moves he been making lately?
Man, it looked like a lot of moves I'm trying to make. You heard? So
Yeah.
so yeah, I followed the whole issue with him and Spotify.
Yeah.
And I got it. It's the same, slave ship as they try to do with the music industry, the sports industry. They corner you into a deal, say, hey, we're gonna pay you X amount for your content, but we own all of it, and you got to promote what we want you to promote. And he said, nah, and if you are gonna pay me all this money and take all my content, where's my money going? And I got it. And so when he launched his own network, I said, that's the vision.
Genius,
what better way to say you gotta, because eventually you gotta walk what you talk. If you are gonna talk down on brands, if you are gonna talk down on the Spotify's and iHearts of the world, you gotta prove that you can do just as good, if not better. And so he putting his money where his mouth is, and I respect it. I respect it more than anything. He betting on himself, and as long as we get behind him, he'll be all right. As long as we continue to support him, he'll be all right. And I respected him launching the Girls Podcast and doing that.
That's something I can't wait to do, dog.
Man,
I got ideas.
I'm in the works.
I got ideas in the tuck.
I'm in the works, man. I got a sports one coming up. I'm about to launch a sports joint, and I got a couple of. Before he even launched the network, I had these ideas in the tuck last year, and I'm about to put them into fruition this year. So I'm with it, man. Keep leading the way. Keep showing us that it can happen.
Yeah, for real. I can't wait to see that. You got a girls podcast? I can't wait to see that, because that's the move. But it's like the difficult thing for me in doing content creation is like out here, it's like trying to find the individuals to who want to take it serious. It's like we were talking off air, like a lot of people just want to get scratch their itch. A lot of people just want to, I just want to be on camera. Like, oh, when you gonna interview me? Like, don't ask me to interview you. That's another pet peeve of mine. But when you gonna interview me, or you know what I'm saying? People just want to scratch your itch. I'm like, no, dog. Like, this is my life. Like, I'm trying to get a bag with this. Like, if you're not trying to do nothing with this, like, don't even come over here. Like, and it's hard trying to find people with that same mindset. So, like, with you, like, how was it trying? Like, you have a co-host, right? For your
I got a couple of them. Yeah, a couple of them. Yeah.
How did that always, like, did you always have co-hosts, or
no?
How was it trying to find somebody with the same vision? Like, yo, we both trying to do this together.
To keep it G, man. Like, that's the tricky part. You don't have the same vision. Like, and shout out to my dog Rob. Shout out to my youngin' Moses. Moses is a 23-year-old Hispanic kid. Rob, my dog, is about to turn 29 in a couple of days. Rob, he's in the video and photography.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't imagine being on a microphone. And Moses is somebody that's just trying to, you know, find his voice and find out what he wants to do. And so even with the co-hosts I have now, I mean, that is the struggle. But understanding it's your baby. Nobody's gonna take it as serious as you take your own.
Right.
It's just not gonna happen. And so the best you can do is before, like, because then once you get to a level where you actually starting to pay people, then you know money speaks volumes, and people
Right.
go all out for you once you know showing the
Right.
bag.
You show the bag. You're like, oh, now y'all
Respectfully,
want to work. Now y'all want to work. Okay.
respectfully, I respect it. You
Yeah.
know what? Because you're right. As soon as I start shelling out a bag, then I can really have these different expectations. Yeah,
Yeah.
finding the coast and finding people that can share a vision. Moses, you know, that just came by happenstance of us just working the same 9 to 5. And Rob's been my dog for a very long time. And just inviting them out, letting them try it, and see if they, you know, rock with it. If they do, you know, let's keep producing episodes. If not, then you know, I just keep moving forward like I've been doing by myself. Like it's all good. That's the power of being by yourself. It's not a taboo place to be, but you know, that's the trick about having co-hosts is, or finding people to share a vision is I don't know if you ever really find people that fully share a vision until it's already halfway into fruition. And you know, right now I'm still in that process of finding people outside of my two co-hosts that, you know, that see Reach Over Culture for what it can be and is willing to put, you know, all hands on deck for it. So it's tricky.
Yeah, it's very tricky. So I'm like, I get it. And like when I say like the vision, I mean like just somebody like, okay, if you got a headache, you going, oh, I can't record today because I got it. No, you still record. Like if you unless somebody die or you not, you know what I'm saying, you're not feeling super well, like you need to show up to, and that's what I'm saying. Like that's what I've run into. Like, oh, I got a headache or oh, I'm not feeling too well or whatever. And I get it, much respect, empathy. But I'm like, if you share the vision, you're trying to be a part of the team, like you gonna show
but they show you from the jump. They show you like, nah, you, and again it's because like even Joe's Girls podcast, see, the thing is, I mean, I think about his second or third episode, they had like a real talk on there, you know, where I guess it was discrepancy between him and Olivia Dope or something like that, and he was explaining that, you know, in reference to, like, I don't know what happened in the group chat or whatever, but he was like, you know, I don't put the same expectations of Joe Budden Network on y'all. So, you know, if y'all show up later, this, that, and the third, I'm not, you know, running down on y'all or anything like that, because I'm willing to die for this, y'all not. And so, you know what I mean? Like, I'm willing to go all out for this. I don't expect y'all to have that same, you know, same conviction, but, you know, time is money, money is time. And, you know, we just a mutual respect across the board is asked for. And so, you know, to find somebody with the same vision is tough, man. It's tough because they don't see it. But you know, hey, once you start to shell out some bag, the prayer is that you do find somebody. You know what I mean? But once you start to shell out bags, but this the beautiful thing about what we do, again, because you're not in a taboo place by doing it by yourself. And so it's like, whether people join along or not, if something happened in 10 years and your network is in apparel because somebody said something crazy under your watch and people start to dash out, it's like, I've been here before. We'll be all right. So I think, you know, I think God withheld, you know, maybe different connections sometimes just because he wants to solidify us first before he actually starts sending people that's going to go just as hard as we do.
And I get that too. Another thing too is just like with the whole co-host thing, I be feeling some type of way when I gotta do all the editing and like they just be showing up. I'm like, I don't be people that. So I'm like, that's another reason why I don't do no. Like I did a couple co-host shows or whatever, but I'm like, I be feeling some type of way when I'm just the one that got to edit. They just show up. I'm like, nah, fam, I can't. Like it got to be some give and take before I do that again.
I feel you. I feel you, bro. I feel you. That I don't even be having expectation. I tell my people, like, yo, today we did the photo shoot. We did a promo shoot. And, you know, my boy Moses, he dabbles in photography and videography. And I was like, and he offered. If he ain't offered, I wasn't about to ask him to do it. You know, only because I want to respect people and pay people accordingly.
Of course.
So, but he offered. And so now I'm like, all right, it's the bag's in your hand now. But
Mhm.
I still, even with Coles, bro, I edit the vids, upload the episodes, set the apartment up. Everything that you saw today, I tore it down. I let
Yeah.
my mans in them. I let them all, skirt to the crib, and I don't take any offense to it because this my baby.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I definitely understand the frustration of, yo, like y'all kind of leaving me out to do this by myself, but want to be on a pod. I think
Yeah.
I play my mind into like, nah, I don't even expect that of you. If you just show up
Mm.
and give a different perspective, we cool. Like if you just show up and do that,
Mm.
we cool. Everything else, I've already mentally put it on my head. Like,
Yeah.
yo, I gotta carry this on my own, at least for the time being. Now, once I start to,
Yeah.
y'all need to come on
Yeah.
with
You
it.
can come.
You hear me? Y'all need to come on
For
with it.
real.
But for right now, I ain't paying y'all. Y'all really doing me more of a service than I'm doing y'all. And
Mm.
honestly, for me, it's like y'all doing me more of a service than I'm doing y'all. So you know
Right.
what? I put more. But once we start to get some, but at the same time, any revenue that comes in, me.
Right.
See,
So that's
which
the back end. Like, yeah, if y'all
yeah,
want to work like that, like the revenue is
right,
coming, go straight to
right,
me, which y'all ain't doing nothing. So
right,
yeah, it's
right.
a
But
fact.
we had them talks at the very beginning though. It was like, yo,
Yeah.
based upon responsibility, now when the revenue does start to come in, don't get me wrong, we could talk, you know what I mean? But until then, if we get $1, that's for him.
It's mine. It's my pockets. They agrees in my pockets, no cap.
Right.
So we were just talking about a little bit about like your podcast. Kind of talk to me about like the meaning of it. You shared it earlier, but kind of get into a little bit more in depth about Reach Over Culture and the meaning and stuff.
Yes, reach over culture. So reach over culture, man, I don't want to get a secret on how the name got away.
Mm-hmm.
Uh the initials, if you know, you know.
Yeah.
If you know the ROC, reach over culture, if you know, you know. But you'll be surprised. Like I get hit up I get hit up maybe once a month, like, yo, I just got it. I got what you did, because the ROC, and it's like, I'm rock. And so, you know,
Yeah.
uh so
I picked
so
that up a couple
reach
days
over,
ago. I was like,
you
rock.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I peeped. I was like, oh, that's clever.
So yeah, reach over culture is about partnering, faith and culture. And
Mm,
the base scripture of it is 1 John 4:4. We changed it. It was Romans 12:2. But with a new vision, I fasted this year, just got like a new conviction behind it. And so it's 1 John 4:4. uh, he who's in me is greater than he who's in the world. And so it's about a partner in faith and culture, man. A lot of times, uh, we, a lot of times you'll see, people who are on this side of being a believer or a Christian because Christians judge too much and
yeah.
they don't understand, and they talk a lot of trash and they do this and the third. But judging is the first thing, right? And then you got those on the other side who do the judging, but then you have those on the other side that don't judge, that
Right.
just accept culture for what it is. And
Right.
I mean, partnering faith and culture, it's not just about partnering Christian faith, it's about partnering whatever faith
Mm-hmm.
journey you in. I believe everybody should have a faith, like like even if it's not Christianity. I mean, everybody should believe in something in a higher power, and it's a common ground for all of us to reach, whether you worship Allah or Buddha or whoever. How do we take our faith systems and build and partner with the current culture instead of trying to tell our current culture what they're doing wrong and turning them off
Mm-hmm.
in the first place? How do we partner together to find some type of common ground, have some
Right.
discussion, and build some equity where we can work hand in hand to the point
Right.
where you know maybe they start to see like the higher power and what we're
Yeah.
doing. You know what I mean? Like, and this only came because in Dallas, I ran across a lot of Muslims. I worked with a lot of Muslims. I, had a lot of spirited debate with the 5 percenters of the gods and the earths, and
Ooh, the
I
five
done had those,
percenters.
I'd had
Oh
those
man.
talks, and having talks about theology and biblical premise. Every conversation, bro, literally every conversation left with, you know what? If you started a church, I'd come
I
to it.
go to it. Yeah. uh,
I don't believe in the white Jesus or whatever, but if you started a church, I go to that. That
yeah.
was like that's partnering because
Right.
I ain't asking you to change. I'm not asking you to become a Christian. I'm
Yeah.
just saying, see it from a lens that's untraditional and that doesn't look like what you used to.
Right.
And maybe we can come to some common ground. Like, wait, nah,
Yeah.
love is the answer more than anything. But it's
Yeah.
ways to go about how I feel, and you how you
Yeah.
feel, and us live in harmony. So that's what reach over culture is about: is reaching over whatever your cultural stance, your cultural circumstances is in current time, and not being, even what the people in your faith say you should be, but being
Yeah.
who God created you to be.
Yeah.
So
And
that's
we share kind of the same vision, like we were talking about before we got on, y'all. Like his bio literally says putting the faith his bio says part in faith and culture, and my bio says putting the faith in the culture. So it was like, yeah, we
yeah,
kind of
dope.
share the same similarities in terms of trying to influence the culture with our faith. And just
Yeah,
really for me, like culture will always, like I put a post up earlier, I'm like, culture will always be a part of whatever it is that I'm trying to do, because like I think that culture is what raised me. You know what I'm saying? Like that's watch the shows, I've watched the movies, watch every culture is what raised me. So it's just like, how can we help the culture in whatever way we can? And it's just like the first way is by not judging them. First way is
right.
like, yo, like whatever, however you believe is how you believe or whatever, and you respect how I believe. But can we find a common goal? Are there things that we can talk about, like entrepreneurship, creativity? There's things that we can talk about that we can influence the culture with. So I definitely understand that perspective 100%.
As a fact, how did you come to create with, how did you come up with the tagline? As a matter of
Oh
fact,
man, nah, that literally is just it popped in my head. Like it's literally like
yeah,
something that's always just been a part of my mantra. Like I looked on Facebook covered like for today for a throwback post, and it was like Christianity and culture will always be in my interviews and stuff like that. Like it's
I saw
just
that.
always been, yeah. That
I
was from
saw that. Yeah.
2017. Like it's just always been like a part
I
of
jotted
like,
it down. I'm gonna ask you on when we do the live. I'm gonna ask you
yeah.
like why that never happened. So we gonna get into that.
Oh yeah. Oh, we could. Yeah,
Yeah,
I got
I'm gonna
stories
get
for
in there. I
days.
got I got I got questions on that. I got
I
questions
got
on that.
story.
So
I got stories for days.
yes, sir.
But yeah. So that's really kind of how that happened. Like I literally just was like, you know what? Like that's what it is, and that's what kind of like what I embody. Like I for a long time I wanted to be like when I started to kind of get back into the faith and really started doing media. I wanted to do Christian media. I wanted to change the face of Christian media. But then
Yeah,
I started realizing there's like a lot of barriers, and there's like a lot of people that don't understand like how I was doing stuff. And they come in the comment section and they trying to go back and forth, like, why are you doing this? And I don't get it. And I'm just like, okay,
yeah,
I'm done. I'm
yeah,
like, okay,
yeah,
I'm done, because I'm done with Christian media. Like I literally
yeah.
was doing Christian media for a minute and was trying to help change the Christian music industry, because a lot of these jokers is doing stuff wrong. A lot of these jokers not trying to get the bag. They're just trying to create music, and they only gonna create music for other Christians. They're not gonna create music for the world. Like they're
Yeah,
trying to create music for the world to listen to. But I'm like, bro, like how are you gonna create music for the world to listen to when your whole audience is Christians? Like, am I supposed to hear your music and then go preach your music to somebody else? No, you're supposed to be reaching the
right,
people. So if you're not
right,
able to reach the people, something's off about what you're doing. And these jokers
right.
don't know. You know what I'm saying? These jokers don't know. And I went to school. I got an MBA in music business too. So like I'm really like
Dope.
passionate. Yeah, I'm really like passionate about like changing like the Christian music industry and how they do stuff and changing Christian media. But I was passionate about that for a little bit, and then like 2018 is just like, okay, I'm done. Like I'm just
Yeah,
own thing, and I started doing my own thing, and people started seeing
yeah,
it like, oh, Drew done switched up. He act like he don't know nobody no more or
yeah,
whatever. He don't access to be on him. No, because you don't get it. Like
yeah,
you
yeah.
don't get it. Like, and the
You're
people
not
that
picking up
do,
what I'm putting down. Yes,
you're
sir.
not picking it up. You're not picking it up. So it's like the people that do get it, you know what I'm saying? They see what I'm trying to do, and they see how I'm trying to change things, and like they see it for 10 years down the road. Like
Right,
people now, they're just like, oh my gosh, I don't get it. Like you're not really doing a lot of Christian stuff. I'm like, bro, you're not picking up what I'm putting down. You're not seeing the vision for what I'm trying to do. Once you
right,
see it, then you be like, okay, you've been doing Christian stuff the whole time, because I'm like, I'm really trying to be the hands and feet of Jesus. Like I'm literally
right.
trying to be all things to all men. So as I'm being all things to all men, I will bring people in, and they'll see like, yo, why is this like that? Because of him. Oh, why is this
Yeah,
like this? Because of him. Oh, well,
yeah,
why don't you talk about it more? Because it's in like I don't think as a brand or as a media company or whatever that's trying to build, that it has to have Christian clothing brand or Christian this brand. No, did God create Christian clothing brands, or did God create a clothing brand? Did God create clothes? Did he create Christian clothes? He didn't create Christian clothes, he created clothes. Did he create
Yeah,
Christian vehicles? He didn't create Christian vehicles, he created vehicles. So
Christian
we
vehicles.
want Christian on everything just so people can do it. But I'm like, bro, if you have Christian on something, and that's nothing wrong with that, but if you have Christian on something and people have a skewed view of what Christianity is, that as soon as they hear, oh, I'm a Christian rapper or I'm a Christian this, people give Lecrae so much slack. Like as soon as they hear that, I'm like, they're gonna immediately think of the church hurt. They're gonna immediately think of the judgment that they had and the religious trauma that they had, and they're automatically gonna turn their ears from you. And people don't
Right.
get that. But I can go on for days about that. But
Yeah,
ain't no
yeah,
such
yeah,
thing as a Christian vehicle, man. Ain't no such thing as no Christian clothes, man. Ain't no such thing, man. It's clothes. So it's
yeah,
intrinsically like God didn't create this is a Christian section. No, he created the gift of being able to
yeah.
do all stuff, and we're just molding it how we want to mold it.
That's a fact. I like that. I like that. That's a fact. That's a fact. I never really put it into that perspective, because Christian does have like a smudge to his name. It's like Christian,
Mhm.
so it's a little too holy for me. But it's like, man,
Right.
trust me, the term Christian, um, it's not Christ. Christians are not holy, but
Right.
Christ is. So it's just two totally. But I love that. I love that perspective, though.
All right. So in creating, like you talked about your show and you doing it for, you had like 80 episodes you already done. Like talk
Yeah, yeah,
about
yeah.
like creating a show you probably never seen before. Like what's that like? What's the mindset of creating a show? Like you literally have no blueprint to work off of. What's that like?
Um, it's exciting. It's exciting to create something you ain't never seen before. My mom told me um, that if anybody in the family is likely to create something that the world's never seen before, is you, because you just see things further than what we see it, and then us in the family see it. And so it's exciting for me. It's exciting to take different bits and pieces of um, uh, what inspires me and to implement it into something um, that God's just given me. And it's exciting, bro, to create what I've
Yeah.
never seen before. It's challenging,
Yeah. It's
but
challenging.
it's super duper challenging, but it's exciting nonetheless. Um, 80, yeah, I've created like 80 episodes, man. I published only like 51, created 80,
Yeah.
and it's definitely had its ups and downs, bumps and bruises. I've been in the space. Technical, whether it was technical difficulties or the sound didn't get recorded right, or it was an echo that I couldn't hear,
Right.
um, or the episode was just whack, and I didn't get what I
And
wanted to get from it.
you didn't
It's
publish it?
no, like I'm not like. Don't get me wrong. There's some episodes I published I wish I could take back, and I'm like hoping
Yeah.
that people bypass
Yeah. Like
my
thank God I'm small.
yeah, like people bypass the small the bad engineering to just get the final content and the final product, and that's a fight. That's a fight by itself. But yeah, creating something I've never seen, it has its difficulties because you're going off of a blueprint that doesn't exist yet.
Mm,
Um, but it's exciting. At least for me, it's exciting
yeah.
because it gives me an opportunity to, feel unique, feel different, and feel like I really have something to offer to the
Yeah.
people out there.
Yeah, I think it's exciting too, and I think it's like frustrating at the same time because it's just
Absolutely.
like it's exciting because like you see it and it's in your head, but like everybody else don't see it. And
Right.
you want people to see it, you want people to get it, and it's just like nobody gets it. And it
Yeah.
takes time, whether that be years or whatever. It takes time and it takes effort and just consistency to keep putting it out there, and then eventually people get it. So I think that's like the biggest thing for me is just like sometimes it's like frustrating, especially trying to
Yeah.
do like the whole faith and culture balance. Like it'd be easier if it was just, oh, I'm just creating a Christian podcast. I'm gonna just preach for 45 minutes for once a week or whatever. That's easy because you've seen that so many times over. But when you're trying to do something that's trying to affect like real change, is definitely like, and it's your baby at the same time. You definitely trying to tread lightly and treat it delicately.
That's facts. That's facts. That's facts.
So next question I had for you, I know like I talked about earlier, I know neither of us really like subscribe to like doing Christian media. So like calling it Christian media per se, we just really just do media and we just love doing media. But I know we both have like some faith elements like kind of like intertwined. Do you what are some critiques you have about Christian media that you wish could change?
To keep it G, bro. I don't really watch Christian media to even know what can change. Like I don't watch TBN or
Yeah,
the
I'm
Hillsong
talking about within the
Network.
culture though. Like you pay attention to Ruslan, you pay attention to
Oh yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
know
Okay, yeah,
like
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Ruslan or like the crew or and it's not really. I'm not gonna say like when I say Christian media, I think a lot of when I say Christian media, I'm thinking really relative to like Christian music, but I'm like Christian media wise, it's just a bunch of people just getting on, and just
yeah,
preaching or whatever, and not really having like whole media companies. So I
yeah,
guess just Christians doing, I get Christians doing content. I guess you could say it then.
yeah. And to keep it G, still, I don't really
Yeah, you
watch
say you
a
don't,
lot of.
man.
I just got hit the rules line, probably a couple months ago. I didn't know. I didn't.
Wow.
I didn't know who he was. I didn't know who he was prior. But yeah, outside of that, like even Christian podcasts and this, then I just don't look for them. And like most of my content, honestly, as funny as it is, reach over culture. A lot of inspiration comes from the culture, baby. A lot of
Yeah.
it come, a lot of it comes from sources outside of Christianity. I think
Yeah.
I probably did that for the sake of not feeling discouraged if somebody had the same idea,
Yeah.
and wanting to just constantly challenge myself to be creative in my own facet, in my own way, and not feel challenged to do what somebody else is doing. But bro, I'm not even hip to a lot of the Christian, even people around the town, pastors or whoever that's doing their own thing. I mean, I shout them out, and I'll show some
Yeah.
love, but I don't really digest the
Yeah.
content outside of yourself, bro. That's why I appreciate what you do so much, because outside of yourself and even mine, y'all were the only two that was kind of that was really doing what I was trying to do. And I mean, y'all do
Yeah.
it in a dope way. Y'all put effort into y'all content, and y'all keep it real. I mean, you,
Yeah.
and again, you more specifically, like when I look at if there was a Christian media space, you
Yeah.
probably the only one I really pay
Would, cause
attention to keep it real.
man, I don't even, bro. Like I know, like with me, like dog, I don't even claim Christian media no more. I know it's
Right.
in me. Like I know ministry is in me. I know everything's in me, but I'm like, bro, I'm like, I don't even, just because of it's the same thing how P feels about like Christian media, I mean Christian music or whatever, and people label him as a Christian rapper, and the
Yeah.
whole section, like, bro, if I if you dye your hair this color, you got a nose ring, like I got a nose ring, like they go crazy or whatever. So I'm like, I be staying away from it, but as much as I be trying to stay away, I know it's still like, man, this is kind of Christian media. So that's cool. That's cool to hear, because I don't even look at myself that much as Christian media. I know I preach sometimes and
Well,
have
yeah,
some
I'm just
different
for the sake of
videos.
the term, I don't consider
Yeah,
you Christian media either, to keep it G, but
yeah.
just for the sake of
The
like,
close, yeah,
yeah, for closed captioning, like if I had
yeah,
to put, if you like reach over culture, if you had to put reach over culture in a box, it would be
right,
the Christian media box. But just for the sake of just having a box, you're
right.
probably the only person that I pay attention to, week in,
Word,
week out. Everybody else is just everybody. All
yeah,
my other influences are in the culture.
yeah, yeah, most
So
definitely.
yeah. So I mean, you gotta
So,
put me on. You gotta put me on though. I mean, give me hip to, because it's not like I want to do that, and it's like a
hmm
thing of like, oh, they over there. It's like,
yeah,
nah. So if you run across a couple dope podcasts that I just haven't gotten hip to, just like shoot them
yeah,
to me. I'll listen.
yeah.
You know.
And that's another thing I see. I think a lot of times too, there's a lot of Christian content creators. Just not a lot of people with like podcasts. So that's one thing I run across.
Mm,
I've run across a lot of Christians doing content. It's just not a lot of people just like making it a platform. They're just really just doing it. They're not really making a network out of it or trying to make something out of it. It's just them themselves rather than a whole brand behind them.
gotcha.
So you have any questions for me? I have a couple more questions, but did you have any questions off the dome that you had for me?
Before I want to get to the live, man, because he is coming to Reach Over Culture Live. That's a
Yeah.
fact. Your name was on the board. So before I get to that, nah, not right.
Okay.
Well, no, let me ask you what, because I asked this question again. What was your biggest influences? Like who influenced you to
Mm.
get into this space in 2016?
Man, really, I had a mentor in 2016, like at that time where I had that come to Jesus moment. I remember like looking at the light in my room, submitting to God again. Really like taking my walk seriously, and then like the next day, I'm scrolling on my Facebook, and this guy by the name of Joshua Ezzy, Coach Josh, my Coach Josh, like on social media, big, he's huge, has a huge following on YouTube or whatever.
Yeah.
And I scroll on Facebook. We're Facebook friends because we went to the same high school, but he's like 6 years older than me. So when I was like in middle school, he was about to graduate.
Yeah, you about to
So
graduate.
I was seeing him, and we ended up being friends on Facebook randomly or whatever. And I remember scrolling my Facebook feed and seeing one of his videos, and seeing one of his videos, and I'm like, yo, I gotta go to his Bible study. And I was a part of his ministry, like his right hand man, for like almost 2.5 years. And we kind of had a falling out. Just he started to get married and move into a different section of his life. But I was really like looking at him for 2.5 years. He was doing content every single week. He had the podcast. He like, I don't know if you've seen that quote I had put on Instagram one time, but by the time we like I was around for 2.5 years. By the time we kind of stopped hanging out, in those 2 years, he put out 4 books. He put out a couple courses. He had podcasts, speaking engagements, all that stuff. In 2 years, card games, like in 2 years. So that influence alone, seeing somebody like before the age of 35, like he's 33 or 34 now or whatever. But
Yeah.
when 2016, when I was 23 and he was around like going into his 30s, like he multiple books, card games, courses. So I really think God was putting me around what my future was at that time. Even though that
Yeah.
relationship kind of parted or kind of ended sourly, I think like God was putting me around what I was supposed to be doing, like showing me this is you in a couple years. So that was like really my big influence. Like I started seeing him doing content, and at that time, I remember like crying in my bedroom one time because I'm like, man, God, I don't got no friends. Like, cause I'm like, I really just like switched my whole entire life. So I'm like, man, God, I ain't got no friends. Like, I'm really trying to do this content thing. And I remember going to one of his Bible studies, and he was like, we went to this place where he would record some of his content, and
Yeah.
he was literally like, bro, like we can get up here, bro, we could do some episodes. And I forget what the segments was called, but like if you like, I forget what them segments, I forget. I'm gonna send you the videos, but I forget what the segments were called. And we did like maybe 5 or 6 videos, like me and him, and then we even did a podcast together at one point in time. But we did like 5 or 6 videos together, and I was like, "What? You gonna choose me? Like, you want me to be a part of your podcast?" Like, I was just like, "What?" Like, and that was kind of like my
Yeah.
reintroduction to doing content, like
That's
doing
dope.
content with him. It kind of reintroduced me to like, okay, doing content like within from a different perspective, from a clean perspective. And
Yeah.
then that was kind of my introduction. So I look back on that journey, and I recently just got like healed from like that not necessarily, it was no beef, but more so that
Right.
the
Right.
forgiveness that I had to get
Yeah.
from his side, and really had to do that without an apology. I really recently just got healed from that this year, when I realized like, yo, like I was given the game at like 23. Like, I don't know too many dudes who wrote a book at 25. I don't know too many dudes who, you know what I'm saying, like was around somebody who did all this stuff. So he was really a huge influence to what I'm doing today. Like all the seeds I was planting, all the stuff that I saw is like stuff that people are going to see from me in the future. And it's just like, that's what God was doing. So he was really
That's
the
dope.
huge influence.
That's dope. That's dope. Um, yeah, and other stuff I gotta get it. I gotta get it to you on the
Yeah.
loud. Cause I got. Cause you know what, man. You know what. You you a straight up dude, and I could tell. Um, I like you a straight up dude, man. So reach over culture is not. That's not my personal Instagram. I don't try to use it as my personal Instagram. I
I
try to
thought it
keep that.
was. I'm like, I'm trying to find bro personal John. Okay.
Nah, I don't have a personal Instagram. I got rid of my
Ah.
personal Instagram 2019, so I haven't had one since then. And the only reason I still
Ah.
got Facebook is because my mammy would kill me if I didn't have a Facebook. So yeah, I don't have a personal Instagram. Social media just became like a space of comparison more than inspiration. And so
Mm,
that's why I try not to be on there as much. It's just a bunch of, for me, it's just not built. It's not what it was built for. But I say that to say, um, that don't mean I don't use it to scroll if I got a particular topic to reach up and stuff. And you a
right.
gangster. You a gangster. You a
I would take that.
gangster.
I appreciate that. I tell you, I'm
You
gonna
a
take that.
gangster. You live your truth out loud. You a gangster. I like
Oh,
that.
nah, I'm
You know,
radical. I'm radical
you
as
know what I'm
hell.
saying?
I'm
I hit a
radical.
pick. I hit a pick and be like, man, Drew Munson like this. I'll be like, boy, that boy gangster. Like, it don't even. I
I
mean,
don't
she
care.
bad, but it's like, yo, that boy double tap. He said, yeah, I like it. And what? Like, you a gangster. I gotta give you
Oh,
that.
you talking
You
about?
gay. You a gangster, son. Like for real.
Yeah,
Bro is gay. Because don't get me wrong. Like there are people that pay attention to stuff like that. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like I've had those conversations with dudes that's like that'll say I've been in live conversations with dudes that ask another dude in the clique, yo, why you like that? Why you like that girl Instagram picture? Son, you crazy. But
no, it ain't got
it's
nothing.
a bad pick. But look, it's like, yo, you kind of crazy if somebody that's like seeing Tim Russell, Mike Todd like that type of picture.
Yeah,
And it's like, dude,
man.
you know what I mean?
Bro, what we was talking about on Clubhouse that one time with Jay, I'm like, that's that man business. Like that ain't
Yeah,
none of my
yeah,
that, that
yeah,
that's that
yeah.
ain't, that's when it comes to like, bro. When I tell you, like, I'm one of them radical. I don't care. I don't
You gangster,
care.
boy.
That's why I'm
You
like, that's
gangster.
why I'm like, when it come to like certain women, I'm like, I know there's like a
Yeah,
certain crafted woman for me because
yeah,
I'm really radical. I really don't care. Like I really like
yeah.
I like whoever picture. I like
But even
mulatto
that
picture. I don't care.
in the stories is like, like this is when I'm tuning in, that's when I'm playing. You gangster. And nobody will ever not tell me that you gangster. I promise. I
I
promise. I'm gonna do
appreciate
everything
that,
I
bro.
love. You gangster.
I appreciate that. Yeah, you can
I
go
gotta
from
give it to
worship
you.
music one time to listen to Lil Baby. Yep, and I post that. I
Man,
post that just because I'm
you'll
like I want
post
people
it.
to see. I put because
That's
I don't care
gangster.
because that's the type
Yeah,
of Christian that I'm trying to reach. Like I'm trying to
yeah,
reach the Christian that's free. So when
yeah,
somebody else sees the level of freedom that I'm on, and
right.
I know Scripture, and I'm comfortable in my relationship with God, they will be like, man, like you really inspire me, and just like, okay, what are you listening to? Who are you reading? What sermons are you watching that got you like that? So that's like my whole hope in doing that. But I'm free. I don't care about nobody's opinion. That's why I say I'm like
That's
I'm
the gangster
dangerous when it
part.
comes to
The gangster part for me isn't necessarily the objective. It's you want all the smoke. If you do
yes,
got smoke, I'm ready for that.
I'm
So if
ready.
somebody do try to make a comment like, Drew, this is the type of stuff you listen to, or bro, these are the type of picks that you like, you
Yeah,
already got a backing behind why you do it. I did it, I said it, I stood on my square, now what?
yeah.
Like that's
What
gangster.
you gonna do?
Like
Yeah,
you're not gonna shake my faith because I like the bad chick pick. I mean, it was
yeah.
bad. What you want
It
me
was
to say?
bad.
What
Like,
you
what you
want
want
me?
me to
You
say?
want to act
That's
like it
what
was bad?
he created that. Like, what you mean? That's why I'm saying, like, that's what I'm like. I know, like, when I like, I know I got like
Yeah,
I got ministry in me. That's I'm just like,
yeah,
I'm gonna be like one of them verdict types. Like y'all niggas gonna hate me. Like I'm
yeah,
really radical. Like you don't
yeah,
want you like I'm like God. Like I know I feel like there's ministry in me. I don't know if necessarily being a pastor or whatever. But I'm like, you don't want me to be somebody's assistant pastor because I will be out at a bar drinking, and then somebody be like,
yeah,
oh, like what do you do? And it's like they go to my Instagram, assistant pastor my bio. I'm like, yep, I'm an assistant pastor. Yep, and I'm out here at the.
man.
I don't care. I want
You're
the
gonna see
smoke.
you're gonna see me pull up. That's for sure. You're gonna see
Yeah,
it.
that's what I'm talking about.
Even in my podcast episodes, like you're gonna see me pull
Yeah,
one. You're gonna
that's what
you're
I'm
gonna have to
saying.
see that because I mean, it's what like
Yeah, what you
what
gonna say?
what you
Like
gonna
what
say?
you
Like
and it's just
what are
it's
you
just
gonna do?
people are not comfortable enough in their Christianity, enough comfortable enough in their identity or whatever,
Yeah,
that they got to convince you that you're doing something wrong because to deal with their convictions or to deal with their insecurities. I'm just like, bro, I ain't got time for that, bro. But that's what I said. I'm radical. That's I'm just like, if
but I
there's
got questions. I got questions involving that though. So save it for the live, bro. I really
okay.
need because I got some spin off from even that. So save it.
Okay.
I'm
Oh
gonna
yeah,
save. I'm gonna
nah.
save. I'm gonna save the rest of my questions for the live because
Okay.
even you saying that, I'm like, man, I got like 4 or 5 more.
Oh
I could I
yeah.
could
Oh
I could I
yeah.
could
Nah,
spin
I'm
off of
radical.
that. So
They
yeah,
gonna love. They
yeah,
gonna
yes
love
sir,
me. I'm radical, dog. I really don't
yes
care.
sir,
Like so
yes
that's
sir,
so I appreciate you, dog.
yes
So
sir.
getting into to so I have one question about like being black in media. Like we were talking about like the barriers with ESPN. We were talking about the barriers
Right.
with like other podcasts. Like why do you feel it's so hard for us to get into like certain spaces that are not sports or music or like drama or gossip? Like usually when you see black media people,
Oh yeah,
usually see it in sports, music, and gossip, like Love and Hip
yeah,
Hop, or you see them as co-anchors or color
yeah,
analysts on
yeah.
sports shows. But like you don't see like we see spaces like YouTube opening up for us now. But I'm like, other than like Trevor Noah, but Trevor Noah really not in the culture. He black, but he not really in the culture like that.
He's from
That's
Africa.
on
I
like
mean,
yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
right.
I mean, no,
So
to be
yeah,
fair, he's from Africa. So it's like you don't really know
okay.
that much about the culture to
Ah,
really, yeah. Like he's from Africa. Like he's like straight up from Africa.
yeah.
So
I
he's
thought he
not
was
a part of
British.
African.
He not
Is
British.
he?
I don't know.
Well, maybe
I
he has African roots. He might be
yeah.
British. He might be British, but it's like
He has African
I'm
roots.
sorry. He has African roots. He's from the UK, I believe, but he has African roots. So, but it's like
Okay.
it's a different landscape over there, man. It's not
Mm-hmm.
the same.
Yeah.
So
So like with like him, but yeah, there's not like a outside of him, there's not really a lot of black people on whether it's daytime or like a Jimmy Fallon type of setting. We don't really see black people. I know there's rumblings of Nick Cannon in his own daytime show, but I'm like, other than Steve Harvey, like Steve Harvey not in the culture either. Like we don't really see that. So like, why do you feel
yeah.
like it's so hard for us to get into those certain spaces?
Um, if you have the media, you control the narrative.
Right.
And just like with Michael Smith and Jamel Hill, um, it
Yeah, I
wasn't
hated
an
what
issue.
ESPN did with them.
Yeah, it wasn't an issue until they started to voice their opinions about what was going on. And
Mm-hmm.
so, yeah, I've learned with American media, if you control the media, you can control the narrative. And if you got a lot of voices voicing different things that's going on in America that's not being made known in the media, then it disrupts the process. Bill Cosby tries to buy NBC, all of a sudden he's in jail for the rest of
Mm-hmm.
his life.
You talking like yeah, I need to get you on another show. Yeah, because we gonna have to
You know what I'm saying?
you talking like
You know what
that.
I'm saying?
We
You
hear. Yeah,
hear me?
okay, yeah.
You
Yeah,
hear me?
we
I
hear.
mean,
Yeah.
you heard the Judas and the Black Messiah soundtrack, right?
Mm-hmm.
Jay was he said, "Pray for me. I'm one of the last real niggas left. Like they gonna
Yeah.
get me for my words one day.
Right.
They're gonna get me for speaking the truth one day."
Right.
So yeah, I think it's more or less just a greater agenda to keep minorities in the bubble, to keep them in a
Mm.
place. You control the media, you control the narrative, and that's like in the Christian media, that's in hip hop media, that's whatever. Hip hop has the highest free landscape where black
Mm-hmm.
creators can come in and get their bars off. But even with that, a lot of that media is white owned. Nick Cannon is about to get a daytime show, but is it through Viacom? The same people that
Yes.
fired him for making the Jewish
Mm-hmm.
comments. It's like,
Yeah.
well, how much freedom will you actually have? Because they've
Right.
already shown you the moment that you
Right.
say something outside of the agenda, they about to get rid of you. You have to double back,
Yeah.
apologize, and now you got your show back. They just made an example out of you. Like,
Yeah.
and so, I think it's hard, especially in today's society where, black people are tired and, black owned, man. Like, and people think we speak black
Mm-hmm.
owned for elitism to separate ourselves from white, so to make ourselves as great as whites. No, you'll find a lot
Right.
of people say black owned because you're not getting those opportunities anywhere else. Reach Over Culture
Right.
podcast, Reach Over. I'm sorry, I keep saying podcast. It's a media group now. Reach Over
Yeah.
Culture Media
Talk
Group.
that talk. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Reach Over Culture Media Group is a black owned media group. When we did Town Talk, the production company that helped us out with that was black owned.
That's what I'm
Matt,
talking about.
World 45 P, that's black owned. That barbershop, black owned. Everything about that pod was black owned. And guess what? The barbershop, my man A. Ron Lux, groomers quarters here in Tulsa, Oklahoma, show love. He didn't charge us to use that space. The production
Yeah.
company didn't charge me a bag to do
Oh,
that work.
really?
They gave it
Word.
like, because we've been all knowing each other for almost 10 years. And so it's
Yeah.
like, yo, we need a boost. And MC asked me to do that episode. That wasn't even like originally my idea per se. He asked me to come and curate and produce that episode. So that way we can, because we actually recorded that in November. a couple of months after he dropped It Is What It Is.
Ah,
So
so you just
we
oh yeah, you had it in the tuck. I like it.
we
I like
we
it.
we, we had that in the tuck, but it was just how that came about. It's opportunity. Even my man with the barbershop, it's like we're in the talks, and it's like, yo, you got this space. You can utilize the space, until monitors. That's because it's black. If that was a white, you know, there might be a Trump supporter. It might be like, nah, I ain't rocking with that. You can't use this
Yeah.
space. Like, so I think to answer your question, bro, because I know I'm making a long
Nah,
story short.
I love it.
To answer your question, I think it's hard because you get more and more of us that's not playing by traditional rules. And like if you're gonna hire me to do the job and tell the truth, you won't really hire me to do the job and tell the whole truth. And I'm not playing by these media rules or these whatever. I mean, you do have the Steve Harveys of the world and Nick Cannons of the world. Is like, look, I'm trying to get a dollar. I'm playing the money game, not playing
Right.
the color game. I understand that too. I understand playing the
Yeah.
money game. You hear me? Like, you know, that might be some people's conviction. Some people might want to work from the inside out, and some people want to work for the outside in. But I think a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people, don't want to work, from the inside out, per se, or they don't. They, a lot of people don't get a lot of opportunities because they don't fit the media. They don't fit
Right.
the media agenda. To answer your
Right.
question.
Yeah. Like one of the things that kind of like not necessarily scares me, but like I'm hesitant. Like when I think about like doing like stuff for networks and stuff, I'm like, man, I'm like, what if I get on your network and you have like a certain like day that you celebrate and you want me to get on there and say, hey, celebrate this day? I'm like we're gonna have to talk
Yeah,
about that before. We're gonna have to talk about that before.
right,
You know what I'm
right.
saying? So that's kind of that kind of
Right.
like discourages me, not discourages me, but like hinders me from like, okay, bro, you just gonna start your own and build your own up and do partnerships with these people and not necessarily like get your show and like create like there may be situations where I can create for a specific brand, but I'm like, as far as owning it, like I need like we just partnering up. I don't want to be under nobody's
Partner up,
company
yeah.
because if I don't agree with it, like I don't want to be like, because some of these cats, if they don't agree with certain days or certain co-hosts or certain topics, like they got to do it anyway because they got a contract. So that's kind of like what keeps me. I'm like, okay, like what's the next step after YouTube? Like for me, like what's the next step after YouTube? Like when, you know what I'm saying? That's all a part of like God's plan, like just walking it out every single day. You don't know what
Yeah.
you're building. So, but yeah, that kind of like I be looking at, I'm like, man, I ain't about to get me on there talking about something. Oh, yay, celebrate it. No.
Yeah.
What y'all say? Oh
Yeah.
no, baby. What y'all? Oh
Oh
no,
no,
baby.
baby. Oh no, baby. No, it can't get me like that. You hear me? Nah, I gotta go ahead. Dip love. You hear me?
Yeah, for
Yeah.
real, for real. So
Yeah,
like,
man.
what are some of your goals coming up as we wrap up? What are some of your goals for 21 with your show and with your media group?
Just produce, man. Produce. Don't let anything or anybody or any circumstance um, get in the way of getting this content out produced at all costs. I made a post on the Reach Over Culture Instagram, challenging other creatives that I know to just produce art. Like, don't worry about algorithms and
Mm-hmm.
who clicking in and who not, and try to
You're
cater to a
trying not
certain
to.
group. It's very, 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 very difficult.
Yeah.
But it takes away from what we're doing. Because
Mm-hmm.
here's the truth of the matter: it might not be. You might not live to see it at its fullest potential. But would you rather go knowing that you gave it 100% and you didn't hold back because of an algorithm or trying to be overly strategic, or would you rather go knowing like, nah, I put out exactly what I wanted to put out. I said exactly what I wanted to say, and I didn't let depression of these different things get in the way of me doing what I was called to do.
Right.
Like it's a job well done on your part. And so my goals, I mean, we got a certain amount of download goals, we got subscriber goals, we got sponsorship goals
I get
that
the
we're pitching
bag.
and stuff. Try, oh yeah. The main overall goal is to get some money this year. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the main overall goal is to get some money. But
Yeah.
as far as with the media group, just produce content, like create the skeleton that might last for the next 2 or 3 years. So can I make this sports pod with MC and my dog Rob
Mm-hmm.
coming. Can I make that successful? Can I produce at that level? Can I produce this female pod? You know, can we create really from the ground up? Can I finally put some of the things that God's given me into action this year and at a consistent rate? The goals are honestly more selfish and for myself. The overall goal, and throughout all that, bro, the overall goal is to, bring more souls, bring more souls over. And if not that, then just paint a different light about believers, paint a
Right.
different picture. Like, even if, again,
Most
if you
deaf.
are the Muslim, I have Muslims that listen to my show. Even if you're the
Word.
Muslim faith, even if you're the Muslim faith, you can listen to us talk about things from a believer perspective and a real nigga perspective and
Right.
artist perspective, and say, you know what, I might not agree with that, but I resonate with that. And if we can create unity and love and peace amongst faiths and culture, and continue to get the feedback that we've been getting, that's the ultimate goal. But besides that, let's get some money. Let's
Get
release
some
some
money. That's what I'm
sponsorship. Yeah,
talking about. That's what I'm
let's I
talking
mean
about.
let's get out the 9 to 5 bracket, and let's really start to make this
Boy,
a full-time gig.
the day I get out of the full time gig, I get to do this full time. Hey, I'm be wild. Be out
Bro.
here every day creating more. I can't wait to that day that happen,
Man,
man.
ain't it crazy? Like, you get people that have ideas, right? And I know people that don't have a 9 to 5, right?
Mm-hmm.
And but they struggling trying to figure out what they want to do with life.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, bro, y'all piss me off, son. If I had half the time y'all had to figure out like what I
Right.
wanted to do with life, boy, Reach Over Culture would
If
be
you
at a
going
hundred
crazy.
thousand subscribers right now. Like, I
Yeah.
gotta go and make this. I gotta go get this bag, man. I gotta go make some money. So I
Yeah.
gotta go to. I gotta go to the 7 to 4. You get to skate all day and you don't know what you want to do. I don't feel
Yeah.
sorry for you. I don't feel sorry
Mm.
for you. You need to figure it out, because
Yeah.
you got creatives like myself that got to go to work from 7 to 4 and then work on this from 5 to 10. I don't I don't get sleep. We we I've been up since 6 preparing for my dogs to come here to shoot 2 episodes, photo
Yeah.
shoot, and do video and do promo
Yeah.
videos.
Talk that
And
talk.
you know what I'm saying? And now I'm sitting here with my mans, and this has been an amazing episode. You know what I mean? After
Yeah.
this, I'm gonna go watch Judas and the Black Messiah with my shorty,
Do it.
and that's a day's work, but that's a
Yeah.
Saturday. It's a
Yeah.
Saturday. What did you do
Saturday.
today?
Right.
Nothing. I don't feel bad for you then, champ.
Yeah, and
You
that's a
know what I
part of the
mean?
grind. Like I love it because I'm like that's what this life is. It's for people that's trying to out there and go out to get it. It's multiple days. I remember one time when I first started getting this off the ground back in like 2020, like started really doing this. I did my first shoot was 6 hours. Did a 6 hour shoot. I
Right,
didn't even eat.
right.
Grant kid
Bruh,
people
I ain't
had
ate
people
since
running
this
it.
morning, bruh. I ain't ate
That's
since this
that's the
morning,
life.
champ.
That's the life. That's
Yeah,
the
but
that's the
that's the
life,
that's the
and
people
it's
that
the
that's the people
grind.
that want it.
Right.
It's a matter of who
And that's
want it.
what
And
it
I
is.
can't fault people, because again, I started this in 2018.
Right.
I'm like, last year was the first year I really just, people really started to see what I was trying to do. But last
Mm-hmm.
year was the first year I believed that I can do what I was trying to do. To keep it a
Mm.
buck. But prior to that, it was just like, man, I don't know where this is going.
Yeah.
But 2020 was like, yo, nah, this could be that. And it's damn near impossible. It looks
Yeah.
impossible. It's like, bro,
Impossible.
like, nobody knows you, nobody, but watch this. This is exactly why God gave me this vision and why I'm
Yeah.
willing to go all out for it. Like I told my dog earlier, look, because I told my dog earlier, because he was like, man, I'm just struggling trying to find my why and what I'm doing and being passionate and being inspired. I said,
Mm-hmm.
yo, as soon as you do that, invest time. I hate telling people what they should and shouldn't do. I hate being that guy. I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, I just suggest, if you do get that vision from God sooner than later, take your time, invest your, because I've invested at this point, I've invested too much money to give up. I was like, bro, I didn't put too much money in
What
this.
you mean?
I
Exactly.
gotta die
That's what I'm like.
for it.
You ain't gonna show up. You ain't gonna. I put
Yeah,
2 grand in this. You ain't gonna show up.
yeah,
Yeah, nah,
yeah,
bro.
yeah. I gotta go
Uh,
for it. So I mean, I set dates this year. Like, I'm like, yo, whether y'all show up or not, something's getting produced today. Whether it's
mm,
just me or it's y'all or whoever. But I'm not relying on anybody or anything to push the vision that God has given me. And I keep it G, bro. I honestly learned a lot of that from Mike Todd himself. I watched him, I mean, go from being a youth pastor to a lead pastor, doing a lot of things that people did not give him a lot of support for, even
yeah.
within the staff of the church. Like, taking the youth on trips and stuff like that, where he was getting out the mud, going to God, getting fundraising tips, this, that, and the third, making like whatever he said, he spoke it. And I'm not really big into the whole manifestation thing.
Yeah, me
I
neither.
believe, I believe whatever God has for you is what he has for you. And the more you
Right.
try to fight what he got for you to get what you want, that's just another struggle. But I knew he was hearing from God because everything that this dude said, it came to pass.
Yeah.
Everything. But he had to go and work. Like we would be at the church for 12, 13 hours. We as a youth group, we went to a youth conference, came back 2 days later, was setting up for another youth conference that wasn't never even in the plans. That man woke up one day and said, yo, we should throw our own youth conference. And we literally set up a youth conference within a week. And
Man.
it was never even in fruition, but it took 12, 13 hours. So being in that, serving under that type of leadership and being under that type of grind is what
Yeah.
allowed me to get here. And I'm like, yo, I'm willing to go for this. So,
Yeah.
a lot of people don't have that. And, hopefully a lot of people get it before it's too late.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. That's what I love about you, man. Like a lot of people don't share that same sentiment, that same going for the
Right.
gusto, and that's what's going to get you where you trying to go for real, for real.
Same,
That's
bro.
what's going to get you where you're trying to go is having that
Same, bro.
mindset, and having that work ethic, because that's what separates the people that's just scratching the itch from the people that's trying to get the bag and is trying to actually fulfill their purpose, and it's like actually driving off of that. So I want to commend you for that, bro, because I love what you're doing,
Same.
and I love everything that you got going on, and just continue to keep that consistency, and just know you got me in your corner. Like whatever you need from
Same.
me, I got you.
Same. Absolutely. Like it's rare to find somebody that has the same passion as you, that's streamlined. And I think because I forgot, I think it was through P, because P actually asked me like, "Yo, how you know Drew?" I was like, "I've never actually
He
met
know
Drew
me?
before." I don't. He knows of you. I know he knows of you.
Okay, because I've been trying to get him on an interview, and he just be
I think
reading my DM, and I'm
I
like,
think he knows of you. He knows of
okay, he
you.
know of
Yeah,
me.
he, I
That's my
think he
favorite rapper,
know.
dog. Don't do that to me. That's
Yeah,
my favorite rapper, dog.
Nah, he know of you, and
That's
so
crazy.
he know of you. Yeah, he know of you, and he was like, yo, because I reposted some of your content one time. He was like, yo, how you know Drew? And I was like, I haven't met the dude. He just we follow each other, and we just kind of do some of the same things. So he knows of you. Now, as far as being left on red P, I'm sorry, brother. I don't know nothing about that.
Hopefully he watched
P.
this and hit me back up, because I've been trying to get. I want him on season. I want, because I'm like, I'm seeing him do interviews. I'm like, come interview with the kid, man, for real. Good, nah, bro. Like, because
Yeah. That's my
that's
that's my man. So yeah, he know of you though. So I
that's
like
crazy.
but I've been there too. Like I've requested people to have people on the lives and the pods, or they'll agree or they'll not respond, but they
That's
watch
a
the
whole.
content.
We didn't even ask that. I didn't even ask that question. You know how many people I be hitting up? I'm like, bro, y'all really not read my email just because it don't say MTV or BET in the
Oh,
subject
that's a fact.
matter? Like,
I've had that. I had that happen a couple years. I got a 2X policy. I'm gonna ask, I'm gonna follow up, and then that be that.
that's it. It's
I
just
mean,
let
but
you come back.
they still watch, yeah. But they watch the content. That's the crazy part. So I'm like, all right, if you tuning in, cool. Like a lot of people ask me, and this is just keeping it gangster because we on Walking with Drew. A lot of people ask me like, why I haven't gotten P Mike on the pie yet? I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
when it's time, it's
When it's
time.
time, right?
I'm not about to chase him down though. I don't
Yeah,
like, you know what I mean? I'm not about to chase down people that I may or may not know
yeah,
to be on the pod. I got a 1-2X policy, because it's been talked about and it's been mentioned, but at
yeah.
the end of the day, I know with certain things and certain people, when it
Mm-hmm.
gets to a certain level, you
Then
won't
they
have to
gonna be
go
there.
search.
They gonna
You
be
won't
right
have to
there.
search.
Yeah,
You won't have to search. They'll come to you, and I mean that's just it's just rank. It's just what it is. I mean,
yeah,
if all say the same, I've had people reach out to me to collab in a sponsor, and um, uh, it's not either I don't see it or it's just like it just doesn't work. Like going over the idea is just like it doesn't
yeah,
work because we might be on two different paths. So I've been on the receiving end more than been on the end of giving, but
yeah.
I've been there though. I've been there though, but I'm a P know of you. That's all I gotta say. P
That's
know
just
of
a
you though. He know of
hey,
you. So keep working. I mean, again, it might be one of those situations where if it get crazy enough, luckily this is just a blessing. Luckily,
yeah,
Paris has spent the many of my nights over at my crib. and we
Word.
just have that type. Yeah. Me and P have known each other since we was about 15, 16.
Damn.
So yeah, so that's so like people look at my connection or my relationship with MC or P from the 4-5, and it's like it is a connection there because it spanned far before I started Reach Over Culture. Like
Yeah.
we all went to I remember when these two dudes had beef in high school and they was writing diss
Ah.
songs on Facebook. I
Ah,
can give you the
what?
story. I can give you
Give
the
us
story.
exclusives on P. Nah,
Yeah, man.
because it's crazy how I found out about bro. I was literally on SoundCloud and I was listening to whatever rap artist I was listening to, and then I think one of his like Drug Dealers Repentance or something came on, like one of his
Yeah,
old joints. I was like, who is this name? And then he Christian T. He Christian what?
yeah,
And I went searched found. I said, okay, yeah, this is because I'm
yeah,
like he in terms of like a Christian, like doing what we're trying, like he's us in rapper form. Like that's
yeah.
like literally what like he's us in rapper form. So it's like I as soon as I saw that, I gravitated towards him because I'm like, yo, like you literally like the embodiment of like me as a rapper. Like I'll be you radical,
He a real,
like
he
you,
a real
yeah,
nigga, man. That's
yeah,
my
for
dog. That's my
real,
nigga. I remember the first time he recorded a rap song. Like he was just doing it for fun, and
man.
I was like, "Yo, you're trash, but keep working. You might get good. Keep
You
working."
might get
And
good,
and
yeah,
eventually, man, that dog. I mean, it amazes me still to see where he at, bro. Because I
yeah,
mean, I'm just like, yo, like the time and the effort that he puts into his craft. So a lot of people don't see that man
yeah,
sleeps, eats, and breathes music as if it's his only source of income, which it is, and he
yeah.
acts like it and he works accordingly. So shout out to my brethren, P, and yeah,
Yeah.
he know of you, bro. Keep
Yeah,
working.
it's gonna
He
be
know
Walk
of
with
you.
You episode with Paris Chris coming soon. One day,
Oh yeah,
one
yeah,
day,
yeah, yeah.
one day,
It's a
one
done
day.
dilly. It's a done dilly at this
One
point.
day, one
It's a
day,
done
one
dilly.
day.
It's a done
But yeah,
dilly.
man,
Yeah.
shout out your social media for us and your YouTube and everything where people could find your pod and everything like that.
Yes, at Reach Over Culture on Instagram, Facebook, facebook.com/Reach Over Culture, YouTube. Reach Over Culture is trademark, so don't try to steal it now.
Oh,
It's
you got the
trademark.
trademark.
Yeah,
All
it's
right, big
trademark
boss
copywritten,
things,
baby. Trademark
big boss
copywritten.
things. He said it's mine.
Uh,
That's what I'm talking
yes,
about.
yeah, so yes, follow us on Instagram. We have a Twitter. I just don't know the name of it. I ain't gonna hold you. And we not active on there. But Instagram, YouTube, Reach Over Culture. Everything is Reach Over Culture. Luckily, it's the only thing of its kind, so
Yeah,
it's
that's
easy to
amazing in
find. Just type in
itself.
yeah, just type in it's that all praises to God. Type in Reach Over Culture. If you want to follow me, that's the only space you're gonna be able to like really get with me and get access to me. Like everything I do, social media wise, is streamlined through the platform. So, that at Reach Over Culture over everything, man, on everything. So just holler at me, support my man Drew. This is an amazing platform.
Yeah.
I'm beyond honored and privileged when you asked for me to be on. I was like, yo, no, it ain't even,
I
it
appreciate you,
ain't
man.
even,
Nah, bro, I be
it ain't no
peeping, bro.
brainer.
Just know niggas be peeping. I be peeping and I be watching. I'm paying attention, and you got my full support, man.
Same as here, brother. I appreciate you so much, and I'm gonna shoot you some dates pretty soon so we can get them on the
Yes,
Reach Over Culture
sir.
live.
I'm
You
looking
heard?
forward to it. Yes, sir. So this is another episode of Walk with Drew. My name is Drew Muzan. This is Rock from Reach Over Culture. Thank you guys for tuning in. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment, get this out to all your friends. And I pray that you guys were blessed by this episode. And until next time, peace out. Peace.